A judge sentenced rapper Fetty Wap to 6 years in federal prison for his role in a scheme. The Grammy-nominated rapper pleaded guilty in August 2022 as part of a plea agreement. It spared him from a potential life sentence.
Indictment just unsealed late this morning. As you mentioned, the arraignment will be held this afternoon via teleconference. He was arrested yesterday at Citi Field. It was during a music festival in the afternoon before he performed. He's one of 6 indicted for conspiracy to distribute more than 100 kilograms of...
In addition to being well known, Fetty Wap was unstoppable. Trap Queen, a smash song by one of the world's biggest rappers, was playing on every radio station. Almost immediately, the song became a global sensation, establishing Fetty as a household name. Fans couldn't get enough of him, and he was selling out arenas while touring with huge performers like Post Malone. However, in the present day, Fetty is no longer on stage. Rather, he is incarcerated in a federal penitentiary. He is currently enduring the severe repercussions of his worst professional error. Even his most devoted admirers are acknowledging that Fetty Wap's career may be officially over since things have gotten so horrible. However, how does one go from being at the top of the global charts to being one of the most talked about rappers while incarcerated? The demise didn't occur suddenly. Rather, it began when Fetty started earning more money than he knew how to handle following Trap Queen's success. It was a big success at the time, and no one anticipated that it would plummet as badly as it did. What appeared to be the beginning of a famous career turned out to be the end. Trap Queen was swiftly followed by Fetty's 2 subsequent hits, My Way and 679, all of which sold millions of copies. He became more well-known with each album, solidifying his status as a hip-hop superstar. He wasn't merely creating music, he was making appearances everywhere that counted in the rap industry, headlining massive events and appearing on innumerable features. Fans believed Fetty was coming to stay for a while because he seemed like he couldn't miss. However, his handling of the issues that accompanied the accomplishment caused things to quickly spiral out of control. Fetty even publicly disclosed the amount of money that was piling up in his bank account during the height of his career. It was more than simply a flex. It demonstrated to the world how quickly he was becoming famous. He was ecstatic due to his popularity, wealth, and lifestyle, but it also made him reckless. Fetty began acting differently as the millions came in, and those decisions would eventually come back to haunt him in unexpected ways. Eventually, what appeared to be continuous victories turned into setbacks that would fundamentally alter his life.
How much is the most you saw like in your account? You're like, what
the most I saw in my account?
Yeah, just
22.
22. Like 22, yeah. Like 2.22 million.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah, I spent a lot too. I ain't gonna lie.
I saved a lot of money, bro.
22 million.
I saved a lot of money because I wouldn't spend unless I knew I was making it. So it wasn't like I made $22 million at one time. Nah, that's not how it happened.
A staggering $22 million was in Fetty's bank account. For anyone who knows how taxes work, that meant he had actually earned closer to $40 million before Uncle Sam took his cut. Fetty was living evidence that he had made it to the top and had the kind of money most rappers can only dream of. But instead of exercising caution, he started spending carelessly. The money seemed to keep rolling in, and the success was still recent. One of his greatest career blunders would be what he decided to do with it. Because it wasn't simply the music slowing down that led to Fetty's demise. It was his reckless spending and the terrible financial moves he made with his wealth. The choices that once looked like signs of a rich superstar quickly turned into signs of carelessness. Cars, jewelry, and lifestyle costs piled up faster than the money could replace them. Fetty wasn't thinking about the long-term future, and it was clear that managing millions was a different game than making hits. In the end, those decisions played a major role in the trouble that landed him in jail.
I heard you bought like 50 cars, and I'm like,
oh, 72.
You bought 72 cars.
Count like from then to now, yeah, 72.
For like who?
And almost everybody.
Why? And what are you thinking?
I just want everybody to be happy, bro.
What's the crazy you ever did?
Jewelry.
Jewelry?
Yeah.
How much?
2.5
million?
Yeah.
Tell me you sold it back or something. You got money back, right?
But
Fetty was burning through money like it would never run out, spending around $200,000 every month just on bills. And that didn't even include the huge amounts he paid to support his 6 kids, each with a different mother. It was almost like he was testing himself, seeing how fast he could drain his fortune. He dropped cash on massive homes, flashy cars, diamond-covered jewelry, and anything expensive that caught his eye. At first, no one, not even Fetty, thought this was a problem. With tens of millions in the bank, a couple $100,000 a month felt like pocket change. But there's a truth every star eventually learns: money disappears fast when you don't manage it. By 2018, Fetty was starting to see it for himself. It happened during what should have been one of the happiest moments of his life, his daughter's birthday. He flew out to California, ready to give her an unforgettable celebration. His plan was to pull $100,000 from his account and throw the biggest, most extravagant party imaginable. The kind of event packed with gifts that most kids could only dream about. But the excitement didn't last long. When he got to the bank, everything came crashing down. Instead of handing him the cash, they hit him with a shocking reality: Fetty's account was frozen and he couldn't touch a dime.
yeah, I've had a bad business manager. He was like, he was taking a lot of my bread, but I was making so much of it, like I didn't know.
You're not keeping track of it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And they froze all my, yeah, like people that I was supposed to be, you know what I mean? Like that I didn't even know I had to pay. Yeah, they froze all my, bro. I went to the bank again, and that was like, hold. And I'm like, what the And yeah, so I think for like 6 months, yeah, I was broke, bro.
The bank had locked Fetty's account because he was behind on bills and overdue payments. At that moment, he was stunned. The same man who once believed his money would never run out couldn't even pull cash to celebrate his daughter's birthday. By then, Fetty wasn't focused on music the way he had been at the start. He dropped a few mixtapes, but they were free downloads that didn't bring in any real income. Instead, he was leaning on his old hits, hoping the royalties would keep him afloat. But the bank's refusal made it clear the fortune was fading fast. Behind the expensive cars and flashy lifestyle, something darker was happening. If you look closely at his career timeline, it doesn't add up. In 2015, he dropped a debut album packed with hits, one of the biggest in hip-hop at the time. But after that, for the next 6 years, fans only got free mixtapes until 2021. The reason goes back to a crucial mistake he made early on. Back when he was grinding in New Jersey, a man named Nit the Grit helped him out. Nit funded his studio time, pushed his music, and stood behind Fetty before the fame. So when Trap Queen exploded, Fetty signed with Nit's label, RGF Productions. But that loyalty would come back to haunt him because Nit the Grit had no clue how to handle a superstar's career.
Spiraling out of control, man. Like, be honest.
It's early though.
It's
early. Like you tell me you could have grabbed control. I'm talking about y'all made it. Money's coming in, but now it's about how the you're gonna manage fame, stardom, legal money.
Bro, listen. No, like it's more so like it just happened too fast for bro at a young, very, very, very young age.
By early 2019, Fetty was desperate to hold on to the lifestyle he had built during his peak years. That desperation pushed him and 5 others into a dangerous scheme aimed at pulling in millions. The plan sounded simple on paper, but came with serious risks. They began purchasing high-value products on the West Coast, concealing them inside vehicles that were driven across the country to the East Coast. To avoid suspicion, they switched methods at times, using airplanes or even mailing shipments in secret. Once the packages arrived, they'd break them down and quickly push them out across New Jersey and the tri-state area. The scale of their operation was staggering. Fetty's crew was moving nearly $2 million worth of product every single week. Throughout 2019, they were living large, stacking up money as if the supply and demand would never end. But what they didn't realize was that federal investigators were already on their trail. No one knows for sure what tipped off authorities, maybe greed, maybe a suspicious shipment, but from that moment forward, everything was monitored. Wiretaps, hidden cameras, tracking devices, the feds had it all in place, quietly building a case. On June 27, 2020, the investigation reached its breaking point. Federal agents carried out coordinated raids at 6 different locations across New Jersey, each connected to Fetty's network. When it was over, investigators had more than enough evidence to bury the crew in federal charges. One after another, members of the group were arrested. Somehow, Fetty avoided capture and remained free, almost as if he had dodged the fallout. By 2021, things even seemed to be looking up. He released his second album, The Butterfly Effect, and landed a coveted performance slot at Rolling Loud. But just as fans believed a comeback was in motion, reality struck hard. As Fetty prepared to take the stage, federal agents closed in.
Talented rapper Willie Jr. Maxwell II, better known by his stage name Fetty Wap, was preparing to take the stage at the Citi Field Music Festival Rolling Loud Thursday night when the FBI moved in, arresting him for running a major ring. He's mostly stayed out of the music spotlight the last few years, and that lack of money and prestige, said a source, were motivation to allegedly get involved in the trade.
Fetty's sentencing didn't play out like a typical case. In most courtrooms, when someone is sentenced, the process is short and formal. The judge usually reads the decision and outlines the punishment, and that's the end of it. But Fetty's hearing took a completely different turn. Instead of keeping things brief, the judge chose to directly engage with him. It felt less like a standard proceeding and more like an interview. The judge asked Fetty personal questions, digging into the choices he made and how he ended up in that position.
So they said, during your sentencing, you told the judge, I only ever wanted to help my family. I never asked myself if it was all the way right. Why was that important for you to say at the time? He says, because it was true. It's all true. A lot of people don't say it to my face, but I hear the rumors like, oh, he dumb as hell. He had the world in his hands, all this other shit. But people don't understand the shit I was going through with the music.
Fans finally got clarity on why Fetty made the choices he did. Even after earning millions, he admitted he had no financial guidance and little knowledge about managing wealth. With no structure or plan, the money slipped through his hands quicker than he expected. But what he confessed next stunned everyone. In the courtroom, Fetty revealed that he saw his music career slowly fading and feared what would happen if it completely collapsed. He couldn't bear the thought of people watching him go broke in public. So, in his mind, making money by any means necessary, even through illegal routes, felt like the only option left.
When I started doing this is what I know how to do. It's like being honest with myself, and you know what I'm saying? Like, the music wasn't doing that good. I was putting out music with nobody paying attention, so I'm like, man, f it, I'm gonna go back to what I know how to do. Instead of pursuing my career harder or going harder to make people listen, man, I was kind of you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm falling off, I ain't about to look like it. You know what I'm saying? I was a coward for that. It was just like, I can't let my family down. It wasn't for to be like, I'm outside. I'm really doing it for real.
Fetty never went into detail about what he meant when he said he'd return to what he was good at. But everyone, including the judge, understood he was talking about moving products again. The saddest part of the hearing came when he opened up about the truth of his music career. Fetty explained how he had signed contracts early on that robbed him of the wealth his hits should have brought. While others around him collected hundreds of millions, he barely saw anything from his own records. Hearing this in court painted a grim picture of how badly he'd been taken advantage of. His downfall wasn't just about reckless choices, but also the ruthless business side of the industry. In the end, Fetty admitted his own mistakes, mixed with the system's flaws, sealed his fate.
From what the public didn't see, is it just bad business situation or contracts that kind of held you back? You had songs like Trap Queen 679 in My Way that were hits. Or maybe people thought you had all this money, but behind the scenes, because of business, it's like, yeah, it wasn't like that. Somebody got all the money, but I don't got it. I'll just leave it like that. You know what I'm saying? I made all my money from doing shows and tours and stuff like that. And the real reason why I'm here, I never really get all that, the rap money, I guess you would say, like masters and royalties.
However, Fetty Wap's official release date from prison has recently been updated. According to multiple reports, new photos of Fetty behind bars have surfaced online, giving fans a glimpse of his current life. Alongside the images came confirmation of when he's expected to walk free. Court and prison records now list his scheduled release year as 2027. That means Fetty still has a long stretch left to serve before he can even think about restarting his career. For supporters, the pictures were a harsh reminder of how far he's fallen since his Trap Queen days. And for Fetty himself, 2027 feels both close and painfully distant at the same time. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. Stay tuned for all the latest updates and deep dives you won't want to miss.